The words hit me like a punch to the gut. Your daughter was picking flowers against the rules, so I left her in the woods to teach her a lesson. Linda Harper, the HOA president, stood there with a smug grin, her arms crossed, oblivious to the storm she'd just unleashed. She had no idea she'd just committed a crime against the child of the state's chief justice. Some lessons, I'd soon make sure, come with a price she'd never forget. I was shaking, my phone clutched in my hand, ready to dial 911. "Where is she? Where's my daughter?" I shouted, my voice bouncing off the quiet suburban houses of Willow Creek. Linda tilted her head, her sleek auburn hair unmowed vying, and smirked. "Relax, Mr. Carter. I just showed your kid where she's allowed to play in this neighborhood. Not my fault if she got lost." I stepped closer, rage boiling inside me. "My daughter is 3 years old and in a wheelchair. What did you do to her?" Her eyes narrowed. That wheelchair was on community property without a permit. And those flowers she picked? Against HOA rules. Rules are rules. My voice cracked as panic surged. "You left a disabled child in the woods over flowers?" Neighbors were stepping out now, staring, whispering. Linda waved a hand toward the dense forest at the edge of our street. "The trail's right there. She's fine. Consider it a lesson in following guidelines." I wanted to scream, to shake her, but my little girl, Sophie, was out there. I'd deal with Linda later. Sprinting toward the woods, I heard her call after me. "Fix those violations by Monday, or the fine's double." I never told anyone in Willow Creek. I was the Chief Justice of the state Supreme Court. After 15 years on the bench, I moved here 3 months ago for a fresh start, a safe place for Sophie to grow up. Now I was crashing through branches, yelling her name, my heart pounding with fear. Was she scared? Hurt? Worse? Sophie wasn't always in a wheelchair. She was born with a giggle that could light up a room, but at 18 months, a rare neurological condition stole her ability to walk. The doctors said therapy and leg braces might help her walk again someday, but at 3, she relied on her chair. We'd been happy here until Linda decided Sophie's disability was a problem for her perfect little kingdom. It started that Tuesday afternoon. I was on a work call when a sharp knock interrupted me. There stood Linda, in a lime green blazer, clutching a clipboard. "I'm Linda Harper, HOA president," she announced. No hello, no smile. "Your lawn violates 3 community guidelines." I glanced at our yard grass mowed, hedges neat. "What violations?" I asked, stepping outside. She pointed at Sophie's adaptive swing. "Unauthorized play equipment." Then at the bright garden my wife, Emily, planted. "Unapproved plants." Finally, at the ramp by our porch. "That's an eyesore." I stayed calm. "That's a wheelchair ramp for my daughter. She has a disability." Linda didn't blink. "Rules are rules. Submit paperwork, get approval, or fix it in 7 days, or you'll get daily fines." I took a breath. "The ramp is for Sophie's access to our home." She shoved a violation notice at me. "Not my problem. Rules keep property values high." Then she strutted off, already eyeing the next yard. That night, Emily and I decided to attend the next HOA meeting to request accommodations for Sophie. We hired a neighbor's teen to watch her and walked into the community center, where Linda was listing violations like a drill sergeant. When we spoke up, she gave us a tight smile. "We need accommodations for Sophie's ramp and swing," I began. "She has a mobility disability." Linda cut me off. "Submit plans, wait for approval." Emily tried. "The Fair Housing Act requires," Linda snapped. "We don't need law lectures. Standards matter. Exceptions for one mean everyone wants special treatment." Some neighbors nodded. Others squirmed but stayed quiet. "The ramp's temporary," I said. "The swing's for therapy." Linda shut us down. "Submit the paperwork." Next item. "DRI vying home," Emily cried. "How can people be so cold?" I promised to file the forms, but I was starting to suspect this wasn't just bureaucracy. I sent the paperwork the next day, a doctor's note, Fair Housing Act excerpts, everything. 2 weeks later, no response, just more fines. Linda ignored my calls. Then came that Saturday morning. Emily was grocery shopping, and I was working in my office. Sophie was coloring in the Lee vying room. When I went for coffee, she was gone. The front door was ajar. My stomach dropped. Sophie couldn't go far in her chair, but she'd never gone outside alone. "Sophie," I yelled, rushing to the porch. There she was in the yard, reaching for a butterfly on Emily's flowers. Relief flooded me until a car screeched to a stop. Linda stepped out, snapping photos. "What are you doing?" I demanded. "Documenting violations," she said icily. "That garden should have been gone days ago." I snapped. "We submitted the paperwork." She ignored me, stepping closer to Sophie, who started crying. "Daddy, who's she?" Sophie whimpered. "It's okay, sweetheart," I said, MOVing toward her. Linda blocked me. "Is this why you want special treatment?" "She looks fine." My temper flared, but I stayed calm. "Move, so I could take my daughter inside." Linda leaned toward Sophie. "Your parents think rules don't apply to them." Sophie's eyes widened in fear. "That's enough," I said, my voice steel. "You're scaring her." Linda's voice rose. "You know what scares me? People who move here and ruin our neighborhood. If you can't follow rules, leave." She turned to Sophie. "Your parents are teaching you bad habits." Sophie sobbed. "I've never been so angry." "Step away from my daughter." "Now." Linda, fine. "Deal with your crying kid. But fix those violations, or fines double." As she walked to her car, I knelt to comfort Sophie. Then I heard the car door slam. I looked up. Linda was driving off, and Sophie's wheelchair was gone. I ran to the street, Sophie in my arms, yelling for Linda to stop. She sped away. I called the police, reported the theft, then called Emily. Holding Sophie, I promised her everything was okay, but her question broke me. "Why doesn't that lady like me, Daddy?" "It's not you, sweetheart," I said. "Some people forget how to be kind." The police arrived fast. As I explained, their faces darkened. "She took a disabled child's wheelchair?" one officer asked. "Yes," I said. "She's been blocking our accommodation requests." The radio crackled. The officer's expression shifted. "Parks Air VYCES found a wheelchair at Oakwood Trail, half a mile away." My blood ran cold. She dumped Sophie's chair in the woods. By the time Emily got home, news vans lined the street. A witness had called the media. An officer returned with the chair one wheel bent, frame scratched. Sophie wailed, "My chair's hurt." That was it. I'd had enough. The next morning, I called my Supreme Court office, the Attorney General, and a housing discrimination expert. By afternoon, police arrested Linda for theft, property damage, and ADA violations. News crews filmed her shouting, "I'm the HOA president." She didn't know who I was. 3 days later, an emergency HOA meeting packed the community center. Emily pushed Sophie in a new chair donated by a local company. I stood at the podium. "I'm James Carter. This is Emily and Sophie. What you don't know is I'm the state's Chief Justice." Gasps filled the room. Linda's husband paled. I didn't share that because I wanted to be treated like anyone else. But when the HOA president stole my daughter's wheelchair over flowers, I saw a leadership problem. I detailed the Attorney General's investigation, Linda's charges, and a class action lawsuit for targeted residents. "This isn't just about laws," I said. "It's about what community we want. One that terrorizes disabled kids, or one where everyone belongs." Sophie's swing was for therapy, her ramp for access, her garden for joy. Neighbors nodded, some crying. I proposed a new HOA board that valued human rights. The vote was unanimous. Linda was out, and Emily joined the new board with other parents of disabled kids. In the days that followed, Willow Creek changed. Neighbors brought Sophie gifts, built accessible playhouses, designed better ramps. The community center started an adaptive playground fund. Linda's investigation revealed she'd targeted homeowners she disliked and misused HOA funds. She took a plea deal. Community Sarah VYC at a disability center, sensitive VYTI training, and restitution. 6 months later, Willow Creek was a national model for inclusive neighborhoods. Property values soared as families sought our compassionate community. Sophie, now 4, took her first steps with leg braces at her birthday party, cheered by neighbors in our HOA-approved accessible backyard. As I tucked her in that night, she asked, "Daddy, is the mean lady coming back?" "No, sweetheart," I said. "She's learning to be kinder." Sophie smiled. Everyone can learn, right? Right, I said, kissing her forehead. I'm glad we stayed. Justice, I learned, isn't just about punishment. It's about building a place where everyone belongs, starting with a little girl chasing butterflies. So what do you think? Was Linda just enforcing rules, or did her actions cross a line into cruelty? Should HOA boards have the power to enforce such strict rules, or do they need more oversight? Could you forgive someone like Linda, or should she face harsher consequences? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories that'll make you think.